Hello everyone, this is David Fairly Secret Music, and I'm doing an unboxing of these new Cradle of Filth remasters. They are the book editions, and so you get a hardcover book. The disc opens up and slides out like this, which makes it easy to avoid any scratches. I will show you the one disc, so all of them pretty much look like that. With the correct title and stuff like that. But Darkness Shall Rise Productions is the label that is doing these. So you can order these either at Darkness Shall Rise if you're in Europe. Also, The Cult is Alive in UK. But you can order them in the US. They were, I believe, $22.99 for those two, and then $20.99 for that, because it is technically an EP, even though it's 40 minutes. I don't understand that, but I figured I would talk about how these are set up or what you get, and then do a brief kind of A and B comparison for sound. I chose two songs on each disc that I was super familiar with, just to listen to them, not all the way through, but about half of each song. And I was kind of surprised as what they did with the remastering. So let's start with Principle of Evil Made Flesh. Hopefully this boob right here doesn't do bad, get me booted off. So you get quite a few new photos, but there is a write-up by Oliver Zoltaire. What is his name? Baden from Paris, January 2025. It's a couple pages. I thought it was going to be a little bit more, but not a big deal. You still get all the lyrics. Band photo. I am really a stickler for if you're not going to make a good band photo, don't do one. This is an alright band photo. We'll get to one of my favorite band photos of all time, but it's alright. It just kind of, I don't know. Lyrics. Another classic photo of the band. And of course, this is when I'd never seen this photo before, so I thought that was pretty cool. This is before the whole band kind of disintegrated. What do we have? Benjamin, Paul, Rob. No, wait. Where? I remember. Oh, I can go back here. We got Paul, Benjamin, Nicholas, Robin, Paul R, and Danny. Paul A, actually. Last time I thought he lived in Minnesota or Wisconsin a little while back. Anyway, but like I said, it has this flap that allows you to pull the disc out easily. You're not ripping it past. It's not mounted to this. I took the hype stickers and I put them right here because A, they're mine and I can do that, and B, I know somebody one day might be pissed off that I did that, and that makes me happy. Anyway, so that is that version, and seeing as I've got them, that's the difference in kind of looks. These are printed a bit darker than the original CDs. So with this is always, I thought it sounded great, but listening to it, it does kind of have like a more muted sound to it, more muffled. This makes it a bit louder, kind of. Now I'm just going to go nerdy. You can kind of hear more separation. It doesn't sound as muffled, and there's a little bit more low or high end and low end in it, but it just kind of widened it out and made it kind of sound cooler to me. So yeah, that one had a pretty significant difference in the going on the plus side. Actually, kind of everything they did with these, I think, is good. Vempire, also known as Dark Fairy Tales in Palestine, being a ritual comprised of 6 parts and having a duration of 40 minutes. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought an EP had to be 25 minutes or shorter. Maybe it's 28. I'm not even sure anymore. But, I mean, could technically be considered a full album. It does have a redone version of Forest Whispers Whispers My Name, which I've always liked that version better than the original. But one thing about the original version of this Vempire CD is I always thought it sounded super loud and like somebody added a lot more high end than necessary. So this is when the band was kind of in weird tatters because, and actually I should be showing this one last, but this is kind of like in the way they were released. A lot of lyrics, some photos, one extra photo. I remember they had, what was it? Oh, they don't even show those pictures in here. So the original had a fake guy named Jordan or something like that. And it was basically Stuart with his hair kind of straighter and with different makeup on. Or at least that's what I remember. And this was the Robin, Stuart, Danny, Damien, and Nicholas. Which they're not in order up there. But anyway, again, same kind of CD thing. And here is the hype sticker, which you can barely read. Remastered from the original DAT. So was, what do you call it? Principle of Evil Made Flesh. So, the difference. Super loud, a lot more tinny, or a lot more treble, it just had kind of a harsh sound to it. They made this a bit more mellow, kind of evened out the EQ and made it so it wasn't quite as harsh anymore. Some people might really like the original. I think this is a better change because I always thought it was a little bit harsh to begin with. And last but not least, Dusk and Air Embrace, the original Sin. So this is when the original band was still all together, but they were having, I think, I don't know, problems with the label. And then most of the band took off. The 2 guitarists and the keyboardist went to be in a band called Blood Divine, with oh gosh, who was that? Darren from Anathema. Let me make sure I'm quoting that. At this point, Robin departed to focus on December Moon, and they got a guy named John Kennedy, who ended up being the singer of Hecate Enthroned, who sounded very similar to Cradle of Filth, but he played bass on this, and he was a pretty decent bass player. But apparently his goal was to kind of copy Danny. So here is one of my favorite band photos ever. I don't know why I love it so much. I just think it's so cool. As far as metal bands go, this just is so cool. If you haven't heard this version before, vocally, Danny is doing a lot more than he was doing on this version of Dusk and Air Embrace. This one is notorious for having really screechy vocals with not a lot of variation. This version has him doing tons of layers, and I think that might have been why he redid them, because he probably realized that he would have a really difficult time singing all those parts. But this was with the original band for, God, until 2016. It basically was unheard. And then Cacophonous finally said, hey, do you want to release it? And by the way, these are under exclusive license from Cacophonous Records. So you also get the Gothic Romance demo and Nocturnal Supremacy demo. You'll see that there is a bit of a difference in track order and track listing. With this one, everything I think was redone except for the drums and Kronos's rallying war speech at the end of the Haunted Shores. So that's the new version. This is the old version that Cacophonous did, although this version, although Cacophonous Trond is, I believe, a Russian label. So this is the only way I could get it, is this kind of slightly kind of bootleggy version, but I think they licensed it. And this is what the original disc and stuff looked like. Same band photo, a few different other photos. So there's a bit different. This is a pretty raw mastering. Not super raw, because it did still sound really great. It's just that I think this one makes it a little bit more even. Just kind of evens out the EQ and just made it sound a bit better. And this is, of course, only based on listening to two songs to compare. So, yeah, so these three are finally out like this. And like I said before, Hell's Headbangers in the US, you can get them, I think, I can't even remember how much shipping was. I think it was under $10 for all three of them. I paid $3 extra for a like insurance, because I knew I wasn't going to be home when these got dropped off, so I didn't want them to disappear and be out of that much money. I also got this one for my friend Pete, because this is the only one he didn't have already, and he's not obsessive compulsive like I am. And then, just for shits and giggles, if you had Cruelty and the Beast, I highly recommend getting Cruelty and the Beast, the Remistress edition. I do like this, but this makes the drums sound so much better. So much better. But virtually everything is exactly the same, except for, well, I have a 2-disc bonus edition. But yes, totally get this. But go out and buy these while you can. Hopefully they won't go out of print too soon, but you never do know what's going to go out of print. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully it kind of gave you an idea of what you're getting, and if there were differences, hopefully what I've said you agree with. Let me know if you get them and you're like, wait, what the hell were you talking about? That new remaster sounds like shit. Or, hey, you're right. The old version of Vempire is tinny and harsh on the ears and stuff. And it's funny saying a black metal band is harsh on the ears. All right, take it easy. 15 minutes and done.